Yeah, that's the brand, and we get to the bag.
What's going on? I know we got some STV VIP people here showing love. I respect it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just got done working out not too long ago. I woke up early and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about today. I'm feeling good about the opportunity to talk to you all about, some of the things that have helped me along my journey with trading. So I'm excited for sure. I believe Eon's coming in. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, now they're coming. Now they're coming. Look, for those of you, before we get we get stuff started, we call Tay the Oracle, right? It's a play off of Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha. So we call Tay the Oracle. So I'm gonna try my best to be Oracle Junior, right? That's what we're gonna try to go for. Coach Fee and TJ in the building. Put a one in the chat if you are here, STB VIP. Okay, nice, nice, nice. I've been in STB for a little bit over a year and a half now. So it's definitely been a full circle journey for me to be able to come here and teach with you all. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. That's what I'm saying. And shout out, what's up, Tay? What's going on, man? Yeah, today is going to be about mindset, y'all. It's going to be about mindset. And I know some of y'all like, man, come on, man, come on. Y'all, you got plays in Baba, you got plays in NVIDIA. You watching the NBA playoffs, you like, I need to make this money so I can watch LeBron in game 7. You trying to do all this stuff, right? But we gotta start with the basics, okay? We gotta start with the basics. And we really gotta understand the foundation to being a successful trader, right? Because we have fundamental analysis, we have technical analysis. We really need to have mindset. So let me go ahead, let me share my screen for y'all, okay? Today is gonna be about mindset. And I believe, mindset is everything, especially given my background in sports. This is something that I saw really separated people from being good, being great, and really just quitting in general, right? And it's a very similar, I would say, characteristic in trading as well. I noticed the similarities early, and being an STB, being around Tay, he really helped reinforce how this is going to be one of the most important aspects. So let's kind of get into that. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about, right, is this word right here. This is essentially what I believe, like, what a great mindset leads to, which is staying power, right? Staying power, the capacity of continuing without weakening. The capacity of continuing without weakening. How many of y'all know people in your life, friends, teammates, whatever, right? You all were on the same path and they just like veered left, veered right. They just started making maybe bad decisions. They started doing whatever. And it's like, what is going on? I had a lot of teammates, a lot of teammates, right? Where for some reason, you know what I'm saying? 1 minute we're cool, we're tight, and then the next minute they're gone. Whether they're locked up, whether they're, maybe they started a family before maybe they needed to. A lot of different things happen. So I believe that having a great mindset really plays into what I like to call staying power. And essentially, this is exactly what we need in order to be successful traders. Really, it's just a matter of staying around long enough, enjoying the journey, and really just owning the process. And so let's kind of understand, like, what is the first step to really getting a great mindset and having the staying power? And that is something right here. Now, let me know. I know some of y'all, some are, we got some bookworms in here. We got some people that are reading. My STV VIP members, y'all better know where this is from. But where is this from? I want to know. Y'all tell me in the chat. Where is this from? Somebody got to know. Somebody got to know. Somebody got to know. Justin said the dip. It's from a resource. It's from a book. It's from a book. It's from a book. Anyone to know? Anybody know? We got 5 seconds left. Let's see here. No one else gets it. I'm gonna go ahead and explain it. Okay. I don't see anyone putting anything in the chat. Okay, there we go, Emma. There we go. There we go. Exactly. Emma got it, y'all. Emma got it. Okay. So this right here is from the book Atomic Habits. I'm sure y'all are familiar with this, right? Y'all, if not, it's okay. We can go ahead and we can make you all familiar with this. But this is exactly what the beginning of having a great mindset is, and that's expectations, okay? Expectations. I can't tell you how important this is. Where am I? This, so essentially, if you look at this, right, the plateau of latent potential, what this means, right, the denotation or the definition, essentially what this means is that we believe as humans that our progression should be linear. Everything that we should do should have a positive correlation. Every action that we should have, there should be something happening, right? But it's just not the case. We live in a delayed society. There are outlets that make it seem like we are living in a microwave society, right? Social media. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that because I know some of y'all can't get off social media. It's all right. But essentially what this means is that our actions are not linear, y'all. Our actions, they may not be fully, I would say, exemplified. Like the result might not be there right away. It usually takes a valley of disappointment. It usually takes a valley of disappointment. And so some of you all are going to get in this thing, right? And one of the things that I try to do is, you know, being from a sports background, I think one of the best things that sports can do is teach you about process. Like I was an academic All-American my junior year at the Division I level, but I started playing sports like when I was at age 4. So from age 4 to like 22, all that work that I was doing led up to that one moment, right? And that's essentially what this is really saying, and this is what this is communicating. So I want to know in the chat, how long do you all think it takes to be successful? I want to understand. Some of y'all think it takes 6 months in trading. It could be in trading, it could be whatever you want. Put in the chat, what do you think? How long? 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years? I want to know. What do you all think? 5 to 10 years? Okay, Juanita. There we go. 5 to 10 years, at least a year. 3 to 5 years, 10 years, 10 years. Slim said 1,000 years. Red, okay. 10 years, continual process. I like that, Mike. 2 years to establish a good foundation. Brennan, thank you. Yeah, I think some of you all, you're in the ballpark, right? My whole expectation when I came in the trading, I said I was going to give myself, you know, I really said 10 years. I'm gonna give myself 10 years. Now, some of you are like, oh, 10 years. Hold on. Wait a minute, baby. Wait a minute. 10 years. That's a whole decade. I know. I know, right? I know. It was something that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give myself 10 years. I'm going to think in 10-year increments. Because what I realized is that the people that I saw successful in baseball, the pros that I saw in baseball, it took them a while too, right? And usually you don't really see people until about year 9 or year 10. Like that's when you see people like on TV or on Instagram and right? And so I want you all to think about that. Really get a good understanding. And something that can really help with that and help anchor in that expectations that we have is something that I kind of had a revelation about. So it's really funny. I kind of look at this, I look at trading like chopping a tree. Now, some of you are like, what? What? Chopping a tree? What are you talking about? It's funny. One of the jobs I had, I actually essentially would cut wood, right? I would cut wood with a saw a lot for people. I used to work at Lowe's. I used to work at Lowe's as a pro loader, okay? One of the most labor intensive jobs I've ever had, probably even more than sports. I used to just pick up concrete. I used to pick up waterlogged 4x4s. I used to pick up double doors and patio doors, all this stuff, right? And one day, like, as I was cutting wood, I didn't really understand, but I started to understand it and like it. And then when I got into this trading thing, right? Lumber delivery, thank you, Eon. I was delivering appliances. But something that I started understanding when I started getting into trading, I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of like chopping wood. And this is kind of what I mean. This is how you can expectation set. Your expectations should be like you are essentially chopping a tree down. Now, some of my people here are Lambo today, yacht tomorrow people. Y'all know what that means. You want the Lambo today, you want the yacht tomorrow. Lambo today, yacht tomorrow. A $10 pop on the stock. We already Googling all-inclusive resorts to Bora Bora, right? Like that's what we doing. That's what we doing. And essentially what y'all gonna do, my Lambo today, yacht tomorrow people, y'all gonna come in this thing, y'all gonna try to chop that tree down in one swing. Some of y'all gonna miss the tree. Some of y'all gonna miss the tree. It's gonna fall out your hand. You're gonna look crazy, right? Then some of y'all are gonna get in here. You're gonna start chopping. Ladies, you might break a nail. And then you, oh, nope, this ain't for me. Broke my nail, I'm done. I'm done. Fellas, some of y'all gonna come in here, you're gonna chop this tree, you're gonna get a blister. You're not gonna like that. You're gonna go inside the house, play 2K, watch Nickelodeon. I don't know what y'all watch. I don't watch TV like that. But essentially what I'm saying is, and someone mentioned it in the chat, it teaches endurance and it teaches patience. And also you have to have a certain intensity when you are chopping a tree, right? Think about it. You have to have a certain intensity and certain endurance. You can't have one without the other, or else you're not going to chop the tree. If you have a certain intensity, right, but you just gassed out in the first 3 chops, you're not going to cut the tree. If you have a certain endurance, but you're not chopping it at a certain intensity, you're never going to get anywhere, right? And the same thing is with trading. It's almost like sometimes what happens is we come into this thing and we are just amped up and yeah, my STB VIP people, go back to the first live chat video and see all the comments. Yeah, go ahead and see all the comments. The first live chat video. Oh yeah, I'm here. Oh yeah, generational wealth, baby. What's up? I'm hype, right? Everyone in the comments, everybody. Then you get to video, what, 30, live chat video 30. Now it's just like, this is fire, right? You get a couple maybe emojis, and then maybe like video like 70 is kind of just like a flame emoji or something, right? Or like great class. And so that's kind of what I mean. It's like, this is how we need to have our expectations. And while we have the right intensity, the right endurance, we need to make sure that we are working smart, right? Because if you're chopping this tree at different angles too, you don't have a certain accuracy or plan of hitting that same spot, it won't go. So this is kind of what I thought about. I thought about this and I try to really emulate my daily process around this. Next thing I try to do, I had to figure out my why, y'all. I had to figure out my why. This, I know some people, like if you ask successful people, I feel like, and it's been reinforced with Tay, because he talks about it all the time. But there's other successful people. I've met other athletes, right, that I've talked to. And one of the things that I remember I asked him, like, man, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? It's like, because man, I know why I'm here. Like, I know why I show up every day, right? And that was something that was really big to me. Now, before I get in deeper into this, I want to know some of y'all's whys. Why are we trading? Like, put in the chat, I want to know, why are you trading? I might have an idea about what some people might say, but I just want to hold up. Why are we trading? Why are we here? Okay, Justin, we got freedom. I like that. I like that. What else? Who else? Let me know. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Okay. To buy back my time. Got you, Slim. Got you, Slim. Trying to achieve financial independence. Got it. Right. Don't want to be in the 9 to 5 till 65. I felt that. Provide more options for my family. Samu. I felt that. Mike said outpace inflation. Got you. Okay. Cool. So y'all are in a good ballpark. Y'all are in a good ballpark. When I was figuring out my why, I was like, I don't want to just make it about money. Danielle, to teach my son, I like that. I didn't want to make it just about money, y'all. I did not want to make it about money. You know why? Because a lot of times what I saw was that when people made it about money, they usually put a cap on themselves, or they got distracted. What do I mean by that? Man, I'm here to make money. Okay, cool. I'm not really making money. But oh, wait a minute. My friend, he's doing real estate. He making money. Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna do real estate now. Dang, I ain't really making no money from real estate yet. My other friend got an e-commerce store selling, cologne. dang, he making money. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go do that. Right. And so you never really commit. You never really commit. And so for me, my why is similar to some of the whys that were put here. One of my biggest whys is that I believe in self-mastery. I believe that the stock market is truly a journey about self-mastery, and you can always, always, always better yourselves to help others around you. And that's really what it's been about for me. It's really been a self-mastery journey. I'm always looking to better myself and better understand who I am, because I honestly believe that's what brings out happiness, y'all. That's really one thing that brings out happiness. The more you can understand yourself and who you are as a person and what you do and what maybe your weaknesses are and strengths, the more you can actually experience life in a really your terms, right? Another thing, financial freedom and just freedom in general, right? We don't get our time back. We don't get it back. This class started at what, 10 o'clock? Well, that's my time, 11 o'clock y'all's time, Eastern. If some of y'all are Eastern, we don't get that time back, right? And so that was a big thing for me. And another thing that really kind of, I would say, complemented my why was my how. See, a lot of people like, they have the why, but maybe they don't also have the how. What do I mean by the how? What do you mean by the how, Hunter? What I mean is, how do you want to be remembered, right? Some people, I think Danielle maybe put it, to teach my son, how do you want to give back to your family? You know, when it's all said and done, a really good way to look at this is, you know, if someone were to write an article about you on your deathbed, what would you want them to say? Oh, well, so-and-so, he just, you know, just couldn't stop playing video games and going to the club. He just couldn't understand his trading plan. He knew psychological support was right there, but, you know, for whatever reason, he just didn't want to follow it, right? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? And so my thing, right? Having the right expectations, then understanding my why, understanding that I want this to be bigger than just me, right? I want this to be about my family, essentially changing the trajectory of my family tree, right? And then also understanding my how, understanding that, you know what, when I go, when it's my time, I want people to remember me in a really positive light, right? I want there to be an article, if there's an article or some type of publication or whatever that says, you know what, Hunter, he really did a lot of great things with trading. He was able to not only just help himself, he was able to give back. He was able to be really, really, you know, helpful in the STB Discord community. There's a lot of great things. So that was kind of the two, I would say, foundations to having the mindset. And it's going to take time. Some of y'all, you're going to get in this thing and what I like to call slide on sandpaper. You're going to have to slide on some sandpaper, right? You're going to have to, you know, feel a little friction. Like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know about this, right? But you got to stick with it. Stick with it, keep chopping, and really reflect and understand your why and your how. Okay. So let's kind of go ahead until really this now gets into like the three main components that I think really works for me and what I just really see a lot of successful traders doing and successful athletes doing too. Successful traders, they're emotionally intelligent, accountable, process and system oriented, okay? Now, my STB VIP people, this may be a little bit of a review, right? This may be a little bit of a review because this is something that, you know, Tay, he's really big on. He talks about it multiple times, but this was something that I realized even before I came into STB. If I wanted to be a great performer when it came to sports, these were the things I was going to have to do, right? I had to learn myself as an athlete, I had to hold myself accountable, and I really had to get invested in the process. Really had to get invested in the process. And these are what we like to call transferable skills, right? Because what's going to happen, y'all, is y'all, if you stick around long enough, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do all the things that you want to do. You're going to travel, do this and that and that. And then you're going to want to maybe diversify, right? Maybe you want to start like another business or something like that. These are skills that you all can essentially then plop and plug into other opportunities, right? So it's these intangibles that are really, really, really going to help you all become successful. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about emotional intelligence, okay? Let's go ahead and talk about this. What's like something that I realized really early on, but something that I also really held with me through my trading journey, okay? I'm just not even going. I'm gonna let this one sit real quick. I need everyone just to look at this, okay? I'm gonna let this one sit. Okay? We're talking about emotional intelligence. We need to let this marinate. Essentially, y'all, when it comes to being emotionally intelligent, okay, one of the things that I had to realize is that this world is full of distractions. Full of distractions. Full of distractions. This is just what I realized, y'all, is that this is not okay. Okay. This is how some of y'all, this is what people's minds look like on a consistent basis, right? This is what some of y'all are doing right now. And it's not to say that, you know, we can't have fun and stuff like that. But this is important because I'll tell you this. First of all, when it comes to being, I'll use my athlete background. When it comes to being an athlete, right? I played baseball. I played baseball at one of the highest levels that you can play it at. I faced 95-mile-per-hour fastballs consistently. Now, for those that don't know, 95 miles per hour is faster than the human blink. I didn't have time to kind of be in the box and, oh man, what is so-and-so doing? And what is my girl doing? And what am I doing after this? And Netflix and chill and da 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 da. Like, I didn't have time for all that, right? Because that ball, it was coming. Like, I had to be prepared, you know what I'm saying? Or I couldn't perform. And it's the same way with trading, right? A lot of this stuff when it comes to trading is we have to understand that how this affects our thought process in our minds and the actions that follow, right? And the actions that follow. I can't like essentially what happens is we artificially inflate so many things into our brain, so many people's other people's feelings, right? You're on Instagram. As soon as you wake up, you got the phone right here. Y'all might as well just super glue. You might as well put some super glue on your forehead and just do this. Because this is what you do. As soon as you wake up, you just put the phone right here and you just look and you're just in the phone and you're just seeing all these different feelings. Today, so-and-so's feeling like this. Today, so-and-so's feeling like that. They're doing this, they're doing that. And your mind is just soaking up all this information, especially in the morning, because that's when your mind is most valuable, right? It's like Plato, right? Because you got a good night's sleep, majority of you. But essentially, this is what happens. And so it's important. And one of the things that I did was I became really, really protective over this. Really, really protective. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe some, I don't know if some of my friends are here or not, but I unfollowed all of them. Every last one of them. Unfollowed them. I did. Because what I realized, well, first, I didn't really get on Instagram to begin with or social media. But what I understood is that the 5 people that you hang around are what you're exactly going to become, right? You got to cut off people. And in the day and age that we live in now, it's not just about the people that we hang around because our world is digitized, right? So it's also about what you're consuming from a digital perspective. You can maybe live, you know, by yourself or whatever, but if you're consuming toxic stuff, yeah, that's going to affect you. That's going to have an effect on you. So when it comes to being emotional intelligent, one of the things that I realized is that the theme is being protected. I got protective over my outlets, what I was putting into my body. I always was very good at that. I put myself in a meal plan on the age of 13, and that was for sports. So my relationship to food's a little bit different, but I just became very protective. Music, outlets. And so as we kind of transition to the next slide, what I want you all to take away from this is, what am I consuming versus what am I like investing in? Like, am I a consumer or am I really like investing in myself? And some of y'all might say, well, you got to consume something, right? Like, you can't just not consume anything. What I mean by that is, if you are consuming something, is it going to lead to long-term prosperity? Like, that's what we need to think about. And so that was something else that really, really, really helped me along my journey. I started realizing that, you know, if I listen to Drake and I listen to Future, like, that's cool because I'm from Atlanta. Like, the hip hop scene, everybody raps in Atlanta, I'll be honest. Like, everyone low key a rapper. Like, everyone, you know, kind of gets in the studio and does their thing and whatever. But what I realized is that, you know what I'm saying, I can listen to Future or I can listen to Tay. You know what I'm saying, on my workout. Because essentially, like, Future, like 3 years from now, 10 years from now, like, you know what I'm saying, he's still gonna be doing his thing, but I'm not gonna be anywhere where I want to be, right? But I know what Tay's saying, I know what STV's saying. They're actually pouring into me, and it's something that I can use to help elevate myself and the people around me. So that's something that I want to just really anchor in you all. Get very protective over this. Get protective over your mornings and your nights. Set those boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all, it's going to be a process. You might need there's something on a phone if you got an iPhone, okay? And probably if you got an Android, you know, we're not going to make fun of people here because I get it. But set those screen time limits or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, put a limit on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The honestly, I'm biased, but the less the better. I've never really had a positive experience with that. So, and something else that I wanted to get into. So we're talking about emotional intelligence, right? This is something that is more of a trading concept, right? It's more of a trading concept. And it's called fusion and diffusion, right? Before we get into that, does anyone know where these characters are from? Let me just see. Does anyone know where these characters are from? If you were like a 90s baby, maybe if you're like an 80s baby, you probably know what this is, right? You know what I'm saying? There we go. Thank you, Shavar. We got Space Jam. Yeah. Okay, cool. So fusion and diffusion, okay? Fusion versus diffusion. So essentially, trading, in order to be a successful trader, we have to understand how our minds work, okay? And essentially what happens is when you're taking in all this information from outside sources, essentially what starts to happen is you can't really, one, distinguish what you're thinking versus what other people think. And then it's a lot easier to just start to identify with those things, right? I'll give you a really, really good example. How many of you all have road rage? Yep, go ahead. Put a one in the chat if you got road rage. Look, we have to have this is a vulnerable conversation. Put a one in the chat if you have road rage, okay? Road rage. Shavar, okay. Just a little bit. She said just a little bit. Right. Well, essentially, y'all, this is what happens. We have these thoughts in our head, and essentially what happens is we don't realize that we don't have to really believe in the thoughts that are in our head. We don't have full control over every single thought that comes into our head, right? But we have the opportunity to look at them from a distance and to reflect and say, do I want to identify with this or do I not? When you have road rage, what typically happens is something happens that you don't like. And like the first thought that pops into your head, you angry now. You angry at the situation. I'll give you a great example. I was in the parking lot, right? I'm not gonna call out who was with me, right? My friend driving, right? He's just angry. He angry because the car in front of us is not moving. It's not moving. He's just angry. Oh man, hurry up. Didn't know though that car was waiting on another car to back out so that he could park, right? But you don't know that because you're so in your mind, you're not able to see the full picture of things. And the same thing happens when you're on the charts, when you're trading. Some of y'all, as soon as a stock does something, right? And I've been there, it's, you know, I'm not perfect at this thing, right? But this is what I've learned. When a stock does something, you all automatically, the first thing that pops into your head, you just, and you identify with it and you just have these thoughts and actions that you start doing, you start acting sporadically. When really, in reality, when a stock is moving up, it probably maybe bounced off of support off of a higher time frame, right? On a unit, maybe an EMA or something like that. It's like, we got to understand this. And so this was really critical for my journey. Not only was I getting protective about what exactly I was, consuming, But also I started understanding how the mind worked and how I could detach and decenter from this. And so something that I want you all to understand, these characters here are essentially, these characters here are essentially your feelings, right? What do I mean by that? You have greed, you got anger, you got hopium, you got guilt, right? These are essentially your feelings. These are your feelings that are going to occur. They're going to pop up in your head, right? We don't have full control over it. It's natural. It's part of humans, being a human. You're going to have these thoughts pop up into your head. And what we need to do is we need to find a way to essentially invite them to the table. We need to be able to accept our feelings. This is something that is an ongoing thing. I've been practicing mindfulness techniques for a while from sports because there's a psychology to it. And this is something that really helped me, right? This is something that really, really helped me. When I was in a game and I was facing someone that was throwing about 100 miles per hour, sometimes I was like, shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, what can you do? You know, but I had to understand that, you know, like, okay, yeah, there's going to be feelings of maybe doubt or whatever. But as opposed to me trying to fuse to that, I just understand that it's like, okay, let me just invite this feeling to the table. Here I am. I'm about to do this thing. I understand greed. I see you. I understand that you're in my mind. You know what I'm saying? You can have a seat, but that's not going to affect me from what I actually have going on in the present moment. Right. And it's a lot easier said than done. In the book, Trade Mindfully, it talks more and expands more upon this. Right? Because I can't really teach every single one of you all right now, but what I can do is give you more exposure and understanding that there is a way to actually not necessarily control, there's a way to control your feelings by accepting them. It's kind of like, maybe it's called like oxymoron or something like that. Because the more you actually try to get rid of your feelings and try to get stuff out of your head, the worse it becomes. It's almost like picking a scab. Maybe when y'all, you know, when you fell down and got a boo-boo, and your mom's like, stop picking the scab. It's going to get worse. It's only going to get worse, right? It's essentially what happens. If you're trying to get the feelings out of your head and you're trying to escape and you're trying to fight them, essentially what happens is your feelings, they grow, okay? Your feelings get bigger. Now you're in trouble. Now you're in trouble, okay? You were at the trading desk, you were doing your thing, you know what I'm saying, from 8 o'clock to maybe 10 o'clock, or our market doesn't open at 8. Well, let's just say from maybe, you know, 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, you were doing your thing. You were, yeah, I'm in and out, I'm in and out, I'm in and out. And then maybe like that greed, you know what I'm saying? That greed comes up. And you're like, man, you know, I know I'm supposed to be, you know, maybe taking my profits. I'm at 10%, but let's see if we can get 40. I'm feeling good today. Yeah, I'm feeling good today. And those feelings, they grow and they grow and they grow. And what happens is you start becoming more self-focused than task-focused. Your trading plan goes out the window. And, you know, from there, everything becomes more sporadic. So from emotional intelligence standpoint, get protective about what you're consuming, start to understand how your mind works, and really start to understand the feelings that come up in your mind and how that plays a part in your performance. So that was really important for me and something that I think we can go ahead and definitely make sure that you all are consistently practicing. Let's talk about accountability. Let's talk about accountability. Let's talk about accountability. Some of y'all need to look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. I had to look in the mirror. There's a lot of times in sports, I had to look in the mirror. Wasn't playing good. Had to look in the mirror. I used to have a lot of teammates. Maybe some of y'all know this. If y'all ever played sports, there's always that one teammate that's like, man, coach don't like me. Coach don't mess with me, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Coach don't like me. The jersey don't fit right. Man, is this. Man, is that. We have to look in the mirror, y'all. Look in the mirror. And why do you think, I want to ask you all, maybe we can put this in the chat. Why do you think it's important to have accountability? Some of y'all may know this, but I want to do a temperature check again. Why do you think it's important to have accountability throughout this whole trading process? Let me see what some of y'all's answers are. Let me open up the chat. Why is accountability important? Let me see. Let's see here. Not everybody, not everybody moving on. So you know where, right, you're going wrong. Thank you. Yes, so you can improve. Absolutely, EJ. You can't change if you leave the power in someone else's hands. Yep. Love that, Brandon. Sarah, you won't be able to identify weaknesses without it. I'm telling you all, check and balance. Absolutely. Therefore, you can control it. It's, yep. I love that, Slim. Exactly. Y'all are spot on. Essentially, what's going to happen is there's going to be points in your career. There's going to be points in your career where it's like you're going to have really great days, really bad days, right? And there's also biases that come about just with being a human that we have to watch out for. Let me give you a good example. There's one bias called optimism bias. I used to see this a lot. Some of my friends, they'd be doing the wrong thing. Like, for example, man, I don't need to use protection. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed. I don't need to use protection. I'm fine. I got this. God looking out for me. You know what I'm saying? Optimism bias. We got to be careful of that. You know what I'm saying? Same people that were saying that, on Monday, they probably pulling up to daycare, with their kid or whatever, right? Another bias, when if we're not accountable, is called contradictory bias. I used to see this a lot with with females. I'm not gonna pick on y'all, with women. I think y'all like it when I say women. I used to see this a lot. When women make up a lot of things in their head about what's going on, like, yep, he's doing this. I know why, because I have this evidence. I have A, B, C, D, D, and all this stuff, and you all pinpoint all these things. And it's like, you don't look at any contradictory information, right? It's just about your plot, your thesis. And the same thing happens in the stock market. Sometimes we actually fuse a lot of these biases together. And so it's like, yeah, I'm feeling really good about this stock because of X, Y, and Z, because of these three things. And it's like you are just locked in, you throw all your money into it, and that's just kind of it, right? So I had to be really careful about this. And there's some things that I did. I think there's one thing that I'll go into in about a couple more slides, right? But again, look in the mirror, y'all. Look in the mirror. It's not anything else usually but yourselves. Another way to actually go ahead and communicate this, and this is something that we talk about in STB, right? Control the controllables. Control the controllables. This goes for sports and this goes for trading, right? Successful traders, this is what I noticed. This is what they did. And this is what they do, right? They're in control of what? Their entries and their exits, their positive outlook and mindset, their preparation and reflection, organizational skills, continual learning, boundaries. That's a big one. We're gonna sit on that a little bit. Health and lifestyle, discipline, right? Let's talk about boundaries, because this is something that I struggle with a little bit, right? And I kind of struggle with it still. But boundaries is very important. And it kind of hits on that protective theme that I'm talking about. Some of y'all, including, there was a point in time I couldn't say no, right? Maybe put one in the chat if you had a hard time saying no to people, right? No to your friends. Hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want to do this? Man, we got this going on. Man, the club gonna be up tonight. You trying to do this? You trying to whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, boundaries. This was something that was, I had to look at myself in the mirror, right? And I had to say, man, what do I really need to do, right? And it was really about boundaries. And I think for me personally, right, one of the reasons why maybe it was harder for me to actually establish boundaries is because growing up, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Growing up in a in a Black household, there's really no boundaries, right? There's no boundaries. Mom, this is my room. This ain't your room. You don't pay for this house, right? I'm talking maybe some of the parents, and they may feel a certain way about this, but I'm letting you all know. I didn't really have many boundaries when I was a kid. I couldn't really say no to a lot of things. It was really do this because of I have this. And if you don't want to do this, it's not going to look good for you, right? And so as I got older, I wasn't able to really flex that muscle much, right? It kind of started from my household, and I really had to take a step back, and I had to say like, no, like I need to set these boundaries. I need to be a leader. I can't really just be a follower, right? And it's hard. It's a lot harder said than done. I kind of call it like, especially when it comes to like family, right, and friends, it's almost like this like emotional incest, right? Where it's like, oh man, you know, this is my mom, or this is my dad, or this is my grandma, and you know, I need to take care of them, and da 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 da, and this and that. And it can be hard to detach from that. But it's something that we have to continuously work on. And it really comes down to communication too. There's a way to communicate boundaries in a respectful manner that really allows, for the most part, for everyone to still get along. Unsuccessful traders, or just unsuccessful, I would say, I don't want to say unsuccessful people, right? But people that are just not being successful. They blame stuff on what? Their families and their friends. That's a big one. Saw that a lot. The weather, CNBC, news outlets, the universe. What's going on? It must just be me. The world is, you know, coming down. Stress, other teachers. These are things that, you know, a lot of people, they use as outlets. They use as outlets. You know what I'm saying? They use as outlets. They blame these things. And it's something that I had to be definitely aware of. So it's like, we know it's important to be accountable, right? We understand about controlling the controllables. What's something that like we can do to help being accountable on the day-to-day? And this was a concept that really helped me. Okay, SMART goals. SMART goals, SMART goals, SMART goals. What does SMART stand for? Does anyone know? What does SMART stand for? SMART goals, SMART goals. Take a guess. If you don't know the whole acronym, maybe just say one. It's okay. If you don't know the whole acronym, maybe just guess what the S means. That's fine too. That's fine too. Okay, Rashida. Yep. Danielle, we got it. We got it. Specific, measurable. Okay, attainable. Yeah. Danielle. Yep. Realistic. I would say so. Realistic and obtainable kind of go together. I'll let y'all in. Okay, I'll let y'all in on it. Smart. Time. Yep. Okay, we got it. We got it. There you go, Shavar. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound. This is important. This is important. And what's more important is we need to set SMART goals that are process oriented. So now you kind of see how, you know, when I talk about emotional intelligence, accountability, process, and system oriented, it's all interrelated, right? But especially these, our SMART goals need to be process oriented. They do not need to be outcome oriented. I see this a lot. I saw this a lot with sports. I saw this a lot with sports. It's in the side. Let's see here. Are y'all seeing, what screen are you seeing? I want to make sure. Y'all seeing the full screen here or the presenter view? I want to make sure. Just want to make sure. Okay, we see the notes too. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. No worries. No worries. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can go ahead and do a little switcheroony here. See if I can do a little switcheroony here, because I want you all to be able to see the bigger slides, right? Here we go. Let me see. That should help. That should work. I think we're good now. It's all about, you know, measuring out the kinks. Are we good to go? Y'all see the full screen? Y'all don't see the notes anymore? Let me make sure we're good. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, nice. There we go. No, you're good. I appreciate it. It's almost like when you have like a piece of food in your tooth, and you just kind of talking and no one wants to say anything. And it's like, come on, y'all. Let me know if I have lettuce in my teeth. I'm just playing. But let's just go ahead and let's just call it what it is, right? Smart goals. Smart goals, process-oriented smart goals. What do I mean by that? A good example of that is something that this is an example of what I actually used when I was starting out, right? When I talk about being emotionally intelligent and being protective over my mornings and understanding that, the earlier I can wake up, the more refreshed I feel, the more I can get a better start in my day. I wanted to hold myself accountable. So this is a good example of how I did it. Over the next 2 weeks, I will wake up at 5 a.m. 50% of the time and chart one indicator for 30 minutes. That's it, right? Over the next 2 weeks, I would wake up at 5 a.m. 50% of the time and chart one indicator for 30 minutes. This is when I was, trying to make sure that I could understand how these indicators worked on the charts, et cetera, et cetera. This was also really helpful. Now, what you do is you come up with this SMART goal, right? Right? Maybe you're holding yourself accountable. Man, I really need to get better at this. I really need to get better at this. You come up with your SMART goal. That's not really where it ends, y'all. What you have to do now is you have to track. You need to track this, right? Don't just have the SMART goal and then just kind of like close the book and like go about your day or your week or whatever, because then in your mind, you're not seeing any type of progress, right? And one of the things that I learned from sports is that you want to base your confidence off of your process. You don't want to base your confidence off of your profit or the end result, right? Because you don't really have much direct control over that. But waking up, you do. So this is a bad example. I saw this a lot too in sports. I saw this a lot. But this is how it relates to trading. Every day for the next week, I want to make $1,000 a day from the market. What's wrong with this? I kind of already said it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with this? What is wrong with this? Every day for the next week, I will wake up every day for the next week, I will make $1,000 a day from the market. What's wrong with this is that we can't control how much money we make on a day-to-day basis. We can't control how much money we make on a day-to-day basis. I know that may sound like a little like, maybe that's not fully like, you know what I'm saying? You take what the market gives you, right? And this is not a process-oriented goal. This is a outcome or end SMART goal, right? Because it crosses off all the right criteria, right? It's specific, it's measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound, right? And so it crosses off the same criteria. But what happens is when you have this type of goal, essentially you start trying to reach. You start trying to, exactly, you're not sharpening your skills, you're not focusing on the process. And that one trading day, you may have maybe 3 trading days where it's like, boom, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000. And that one day where you don't make $1,000, maybe in the time frame that you actually wanted to, what starts to happen now is you start to like kind of panic, or you kind of get a little uncomfortable, and it's like, let me see if I can get it this way, or let me go to this stock. This stock, it's extended from here, so it should drop too, right? And that should give me about $1,000. Some of y'all, using the delta and the gamma to calculate, yeah, that should give me $1,000 if I do this stock, and by this time you overtrade. Exactly, Dom. You start overtrading. So what I suggest is really, really understand process SMART goals. What goes into the preparation, what goes into the during, what goes into the after, right? That is something that we have more control over. Waking up is a great example. Going to the gym is another great example. Practice charting, another great example. Reflecting, another great example. Journaling, another great example. These are all things that we have more control of that really help us be great traders, and has helped me as well. All right. Coming to the last part here. Successful traders, they're process and system oriented. Now, this was something that, again, it was reiterated with me through sports. Working out is a really, really good one too, because with working out, being an athlete, the body doesn't lie, right? Like the body doesn't lie. You can kind of look at someone, you can kind of tell some of the actions that they were doing from a body perspective, like if they're taking care of themselves. And this isn't body shaming, right? We're not here to body shame anybody or anything like that. But especially when it came to working out, you kind of can understand, right? You can understand like what their process is. Like, man, okay, this person, they're very lean, they have a lot of muscle. You can understand some of the processes that they take. If you watch them in the gym, they're very like, they probably have a workout already planned, right? Some people, you go to the gym, you don't even have a plan. You're just kind of like, what machine do I want to use today, right? But they probably have a plan. When they work out, they're using the right technique. I've seen a lot of people, even athletes, not even, these are people that are like, that, are on my team. They go to the gym and they just kind of shake stuff, right? Like, they just shake a whole bunch of weights. They have no process. They have no understanding of form and technique and muscle activation and like what really goes into this thing. And so that's just kind of one thing that stuck with me into this trading journey. Now, this next exercise is something that I started to kind of utilize to kind of help reinforce that. So this is something that I look at pretty much daily, right? I'm sure you all know what this is. Hopefully y'all know what this is. If you don't, it's okay. But this is an iceberg, right? This is an iceberg. And so, right, Jordan, right. This is really, really great, really symbolic. And if you reflect or you do any type of just take some time to really just kind of understand what's going on in the world around us. I saw this a lot, right? Essentially what happens is what we do is we fixate on this top half here. If you don't know what an iceberg is, right, or what it really means is essentially only about 10%, you only see about 10% of the iceberg, which is the top. You only see about 10%. And we fixate on that 10%. We fixate on it. What's an example of 10%? Profit, having a great body, money, marriage. What else? You know what I'm saying? These are examples. We fixate on this. We fixate on this. But a lot of times we don't see the other 90%. And we usually don't try to understand that 90%. Yes, health, right? A lot of people, I saw this a lot as an athlete. And this helps with something else too. There's there's another concept that calls it's called alignment, right? Being in a process and being aligned to that process. It's really, really important. So as a trader, right, I can kind of get into that side of things. What we do is, remember how I told you all, like when you're setting these SMART goals, they need to be process oriented. They don't need to be end result oriented. Well, essentially the 10% is that profit. And y'all, be careful. Be careful. If you're an STB VIP, you probably heard Tay say, be careful about that chat. You know what I'm saying? That chat, that profit group, be careful, because essentially you just start seeing this 10% every day. Man, so-and-so made this, or you showing your profits like, yeah, I made this today. I made that today. I made this today. I made that today. I made this today, right? Or you seeing everyone else's profits come in. And what starts to happen is you start to fixate on this. You start fixating on the profit. The profit's just there, it's there until it's not. And then it's like, damn. Okay, well, now what? And you kind of you have to kind of get back in the center of what's going on, right? Where I feel like I was successful is I never really paid attention to this 10%. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Like I never really fixated on this. Everything else, that 90%, I made that my reward, right? If I was working out, I never worried about having a great body. Like I never worried about I gotta get a six pack and I gotta get a six pack, right? I worried about what? Challenging myself in the gym, being disciplined with my diet, right? Going to the gym consistently, trying new workouts, mixing it up. This is the 90% that you don't see, that I feel like a lot of great people, what they do is they use that as their reward. And then the 10% just comes as a byproduct. So this is kind of just, an example, right? We talked about it. Profit, 10%, 90%, being accountable, setting boundaries, being organized. This is another big one, right? Something that I'll do is when we start maybe having more like a one-on-one, when I can get some more one-on-ones together, because I know some people already asked me, they're kind of like, man, when are you doing a one-on-one? And I'm like, hey, hold on, baby. This is the first class now. Come on. I'm getting my schedule together though. But when I have one-on-ones, I can go a little bit deeper into this and how I kind of pair certain things together and how I use it as like a routine to really put me in the best state. But yeah, mastering charting. Essentially what I try to do is I try to focus on this, y'all. I really try to focus on this, and I don't try to put my confidence in profit. I don't want to put my confidence in profit. I want to put my confidence in the process. Essentially, the way I started looking at things is if I'm waking up early, I'm going to class, I'm taking the notes, I'm doing my journaling, I'm doing my reflecting, and I'm maybe not getting the profit, okay, that's fine. It puts me in a better position to see what along the journey am I not doing. But if I just slowly focused on profit, it's a lot harder to reverse engineer and kind of go backwards because your mind wasn't really fixating on that to begin with. So those are kind of the things that I used, right, to really help. And I think Jordan said he was an athlete too. Yep, exactly. Absolutely. It's that continuous preparation, y'all. So really find a way to do this. Now, what I like to do is I like to use this concept, and essentially you can actually emulate this to other areas of your life, right? So with a relationship, some people, they fixate on, I want to be married. I saw this a lot with women when I was dating women and stuff. I need to be married. I want to be married. I'm like, okay. Like I want to be married too, eventually. But it's like they wanted to be married, but they also were they were argumentative. They were not taking care of themselves. They were, yeah, by a certain age, right? Like they fixate on that. It's like I need to be married by this age in this location, and like it gets wild, right? And it's like you have to focus on this process of allowing someone to even think about marriage with you, right? If you're argumentative, if you bring a lot of stress to someone's life, if you are, you have maybe a low self-esteem and you're controlling, these are all things that you have to work out in here in order for this to come, right? You have to put yourself in the right room with the right people, right? Right? Because what's going to happen, y'all, and what I really do believe is that STB, the Discord community, STB VIP, we are elite, right? Like this is an elite group of people that have the same mindset, right? And pretty much the same values. It may differ from person to person, but for the most part, we are on the same path, y'all. Like, and a lot of people, you're going to start to notice that people around you, people that you thought were maybe close to you, the more you start to learn and you start to practice and you start to grow, it's almost like, man, like y'all not really seeing what I'm seeing anymore. And this ain't really, you're starting to have different conversations, you're talking about X, Y, and Z, you talking about the charts, you talking about, these cycles and da 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 da. And people are like, the hell going on with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you're just in a totally different realm. And so you have to be able to network and put yourselves in that position. So I want to kind of now segue into like, let's take action, right? We talked about pretty much 5 components that helped me be successful. You know, talked about expectations and how we need to essentially associate this journey that we're on with trading, like chopping wood, like chopping a tree. We need to have a certain intensity about this, and we need to have endurance. We need to have endurance, and we need to really be accurate in our day-to-day and intentional so that we're all chopping in the right place and we're making that progress, right? We talked about our why and our how. We talked about how that's important and how you can essentially put a cap on yourself if your why is not deep enough. If you say, hey, I just want to make money, you'll make money from the stock market, and then you'll be like, okay, well, I guess I want to make more money. And it's just like, it's just not how it works. That's not how it works. So talked about our why and our how. We talked about really the 3 components: being emotionally intelligent, getting protective over our environment, getting protective over people, having those boundaries, being accountable, understanding what we can control, controlling the controllables, and using SMART process goals as a way to hold ourselves accountable, right? Don't just say, I need to work on this, or, okay, over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to do this, and don't actually have a way to hold yourself accountable. Some of y'all may need to get a whiteboard. You might need to, kind of check a box every day. That's what I used to do when I first started meditating. It's like, I'm gonna start meditating. I used to hurt every day. Check it off so I could see, my mind could see myself in the progress, right? And then lastly, we talked about being process oriented. And we talked about how to not fixate on that 10%. Don't fixate on that 10%. Use the 90% as a way to really find fulfillment, right? Really find enjoyment in this stuff. Like, I look at trading as like a language or like an art. You know what I mean? It helps me get, like, I get lost in studying. Like, if you're like counting how many days it is until you're rich, like, okay, I know Tay, he said like it takes like this amount of days. Like, if I watch this amount of live chats, like, I'm gonna be rich. It's like, you probably don't have the right relationship to this stuff, You probably don't have the right relationship to this stuff yet. So let's kind of get into some of the things that I would say do. First things first, this weekend, draw you a T-chart. Draw you a T-chart and ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I investing in, and what am I consuming in? If you're consuming a lot more than what you're investing in, it's time to maybe do some balancing out, right? It's time to do some balancing out. You need to, I think really it comes down to either being like a creator or a consumer. The people that are the wealthiest people in the world, they create opportunity. They create opportunity, they have a skill set, they master that skill set, right? These are things that we do. Elon Musk has Tesla, Jeff Bezos has Amazon, Steve Jobs had Apple. The list goes on and on and on, right? And, if you don't create anything, you at least, again, you take a skill and you master it. Jay-Z, rap. LeBron, basketball. So, exactly. Tay, he has STB, right? And before that, he took many skill sets and he mastered them, right? And he just kind of plopped it into the next thing and the next thing. So, really understand what it is. Am I doing? Am I investing, or am I consuming? Am I consuming right now? Is me watching highlights of Steph Curry and the Warriors, is that consuming, or is that really investing? Am I investing in my future, or am I kind of just consuming? And it takes a little bit of a balancing act. Like I said, y'all, I know some of y'all, you want to have fun, you want to do certain things, but depending on your goal, depending on what you want to do, some of y'all want to be like billionaires, which I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I love it. I'm on the same path. Like, some of y'all want to, like, yeah, I'm trying to get to a B. You really got to understand what it takes to get there, right? So that's part one. Really. And I'll say this, Val, their fun comes from that 90%. Like their fun comes from charting, right? Like they get energy from that. They get happy about that type of stuff, right? Like the billionaire hedge fund leaders and like traders, like they become excited every day. Like if you wake up and it's like, ugh, I gotta chart Alibaba so I can make this money. Like if you have that, like it's a lot of resistance, you know. You're building up a lot of resistance, and the amount of work that you will do throughout your trading career will just kind of just push it down. Push you down, and then you won't have what? Staying power. Get really good at your why. Let's take action. We understood what we're doing. What am I doing? Understand your why. Remember your why. Write these things down. Look at them over and over again. Every morning, maybe every night. These are the two books that really helped me. It really helped me set a sound foundation, and I go back to them all the time, over and over again. When it comes to reading, it's not just about reading, it's about reading the book. It's about understanding which parts you can take from the book. It's about implementing them, and then always reviewing. You want to be reviewing. And when I go into, I think I'll probably share my one-on-ones, right? Like how I break down and how I review information and how I make it efficient. Because if you're an STB, like I think we're on about like what? We're almost at like 150 videos, and like each video is 2 hours long, right? So there's gonna be continual learning that you'll have to do, but this is essentially, I think, the foundation. Understand your habits, and then understand the psychology of trading. Be able to bounce these things around. You'll be in a good position. And then lastly, what I would do is you have your T chart, you got your why, you got your books, right? Look at some icebergs, man. Create some icebergs. Create some icebergs. And really start to try to enjoy that 90%. It's really, I'm gonna give you a little bit of, a little bit of insider stuff. It's called the art of detachment. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. Maybe some people that are into mindfulness, et cetera, they maybe have heard of it. But essentially, you don't have to fixate on something in order for it to happen, right? My guys, it's kind of like, when you maybe are with a girl, you kind of like, man, let's just let it happen. Let's just let it happen, right? It's kind of that same way. It's like, if you're doing all the right things, like everything will just grow and you'll prosper in the way that you need to. So that's really it, y'all. That's really what I had for you today. But this is what I want you all to take away, is that this is the foundation. This is something that's not going to go away. This mindset, it's not going to go away. And the more money you make, the more we have to have a solid foundation. So I just appreciate y'all. I'm absolutely grateful for the opportunity to teach. If you're an STB VIP, I'll see y'all tomorrow, Sunday. You know what it is. Every Sunday, we get busy. So y'all take care, man. Let's get it. Keep going. Don't stop. And I'll talk to you all next Saturday. All right.
Secure the bag, yeah, that's the brand, and we get to the bag.